Eileen Gu hits back over choosing China over USA after being slammed by Vance. Eileen Gu has opened up about her decision to represent China instead of the USA at the Winter Olympics, while also sending a message to her critics. Gu's choice to represent her mother's homeland was heavily criticized by a number of influential Americans, including Vice President Vance. Somebody who grew up in the United States of America, who benefited from our education system, from the freedoms and liberties that make this country a great place. I would hope they would want to compete with the United States of America, the vice president said in a Fox interview. So, I will root for American athletes, and I think part of that is people who identify themselves as Americans. That's who I am rooting for this Olympics. Meanwhile, USWNT legend Megan Rapinoe applauded Gu's excellent business decision. The 22-year-old grew up in California and is a student at Stanford University. She cemented herself as the most decorated freestyle skier at the Milano Cortina Games, taking home 2 silver medals and a gold. Reflecting on her time in Italy in a lengthy post on social media, Gu also took aim at those who questioned her decision to not ski for the U.S. When I was 15, I announced my decision to compete for China, Gu wrote on Instagram. At the time, I had spent 1 season on the U.S. team and had been lucky enough to meet my heroes in person. I am forever grateful for that season and continue to maintain a close relationship with the team. I had spent every summer in China since I was 8 setting up summer camps on trampoline and dry slope for kids and adults, ranging from 7 to 47 years old, so I knew the industry was tiny. I felt like I knew everyone. Skiing for Team China meant the opportunity to uplift others through the universal culture of sport, and to introduce free skiing to hundreds of millions of people who had never heard of it, especially with the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics around the corner. Gu insisted that she does not regret her decision as she is now one of the most successful Olympians in history. I can look back now, at 22, and tell 12-year-old Eileen that there are now terrain parks full of little girls who will never doubt their place in the sport, added Gu. I can tell 15-year-old me that there are now millions of girls who have started skiing since then, in China and worldwide. A lot of people won't understand or believe that I made a decision to create the greatest amount of positive impact on the world stage that I could, at this age, given my interests and passions. 3 golds and 6 medals later, I can confidently say what was once a dream is now a reality. Eileen Gu hits back over choosing China over USA after being slammed by Vance. In the world of modern sports, athletes are often celebrated for their achievements, talent, and dedication. Yet sometimes their choices, especially those tied to identity and nationality, spark debates far beyond the playing field. Few athletes know this reality better than Eileen Gu, the freestyle skiing superstar who has found herself at the center of a global conversation about loyalty, identity, and politics. Born in the United States but representing China in international competitions, Gu has faced intense scrutiny for her decision. Recently, that criticism reached new heights when U.S. Vice President Vance publicly questioned her choice. But instead of staying silent, Gu responded in a calm yet confident manner, turning the spotlight back on the critics. Her story is not just about sports. It is about identity, cultural connection, and the complicated nature of belonging in an increasingly globalized world. A star raised between 2 worlds. Eileen Gu was born in San Francisco, California, to an American father and a Chinese mother. Growing up, she experienced the best of both worlds. Her childhood blended American culture with strong ties to Chinese heritage through her mother. From a young age, Gu showed extraordinary talent in skiing. Training in California's mountain resorts, she quickly rose through the ranks of competitive freestyle skiing. Coaches and analysts predicted she would become one of the brightest stars in winter sports. But Gu's upbringing was unique. While she lived and trained in the United States, she often visited China with her mother. During those trips, she connected deeply with Chinese culture and language. This dual identity would later shape one of the most controversial decisions of her career, the decision that sparked global debate. In 2019, Gu announced that she would represent China in international competitions instead of the United States. The announcement shocked many American sports fans. Since Gu had grown up in the U.S. and trained within the American sports system, critics questioned why she would switch national representation. For Gu, however, the decision was deeply personal. She explained that she wanted to inspire young people in China, particularly girls, to participate in winter sports. With China preparing to host the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics, she believed the moment presented a unique opportunity to grow the sport. Her choice was not simply about competition. It was about using her platform to bridge cultures and encourage participation in sports. But not everyone saw it that way. Olympic glory and growing controversy. Gu's performance at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics was nothing short of spectacular. She won 2 gold medals and 1 silver medal, instantly becoming one of the most successful athletes of the Games. Her charisma, confidence, and exceptional skill made her a global sensation. In China, she became a national hero. Millions of fans celebrated her victories, and she quickly became one of the most recognizable faces in sports and advertising. Yet in the United States, reactions were mixed. Some admired her achievements regardless of the country she represented. Others criticized her decision to compete for China, arguing that she had benefited from American training and opportunities. As her fame grew, so did the controversy. J.D. Vance enters the debate. The discussion intensified when J.D. Vance, now serving as Vice President of the United States, publicly commented on Gu's choice. Vance suggested that athletes who grow up in America and benefit from its systems should represent the United States rather than another country. His remarks quickly spread across media outlets and social platforms. For some Americans, his comments reflected a broader concern about national loyalty. For others, the criticism seemed unfair toward an athlete who was simply embracing her multicultural background. Suddenly, what had once been a sports story became a political one. Eileen Gu's calm but powerful response. Rather than reacting with anger, Gu responded with a short and witty comment. "I'm flattered. Thanks, JD. That's sweet." The response immediately went viral. Many fans praised her composure and humor, seeing it as a graceful way to deflect criticism without escalating the conflict. But Gu also made a more serious point. She noted that many athletes around the world represent countries different from where they were born or raised. In international sports, nationality choices are often influenced by family heritage, opportunities, and personal identity. Yet, she suggested, her case attracts